before everyone else, when the house is quiet and it's just you, and having a cozy cup of coffee and getting your work done and then ticking it off, and you're all set, and you're available, you're mentally, physically available for everybody else during the day. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks having to sleep. It sucks being human sometimes. So that's been really difficult. So now I'm moving on to the stovetop. And this thing gets nasty. But I'll tell you something, people that have, I'm not dissing anyone. I hate dissing people. People who have like perfectly clean kitchens, I've noticed are people that tend not to do very much cooking in their kitchen. And I do a lot of cooking in my kitchen, and that's something that I think is a good thing. If you have the time and you are so inclined, then it's great making a healthy meal, saving some money. Like, why not? So, don't feel too bad if your kitchen is a little bit like, not perfect. It probably means that you're cooking. But, if you don't like cooking and you don't have time, or who cares? Honestly, who cares? Like, I am certainly not here to judge or make anyone feel bad. I think that there is so much judgment that we have on each other, and really, we don't know each other's circumstances. Like, you don't know if the person that was rude to you at the grocery store, maybe their cat just died, or, something terrible's just happened to them, or they're battling some like chronic illness or mental health. You just don't know. And I think so often these days we're just so quick to put on our judgy cap and judge people around us. And don't get me wrong, some people are just jerks, but I feel like the vast majority of people are doing the best they can with what they have at any given moment. So why not just show some love and compassion if you can, And you guys can see
every spell,
that
curse, and false prophecy projected over your life. Something shattered in the spiritual realm and echoed through every dimension. You felt it when that bottle hit the floor, when your patience finally snapped, when you said enough to people who never deserved your energy. The show must go on, and people are about to ruin their entire existence, trying to stop what's already been set in motion by powers greater than their schemes. You've been in hermit mode, building your arsenal while everyone assumed you were hiding. You weren't hiding. You were preparing for war. The warfare against you has been happening on levels most people can't even perceive. While you've been focused on building your dreams, certain individuals have been busy trying to tear them down through methods that exist beyond the physical realm. But you can't curse someone who carries divine favor. You can't hex someone whose ancestors are actively working to clear their path. Every candle burned with your name on it, every petition written to block your progress, every spiritual worker hired to dim your light, all of it just became fuel for the fire that's about to elevate you beyond their wildest imagination. The energy investment required to maintain these attacks against you has been draining their life force, their finances, their relationships, their sanity. You've probably noticed how certain people in your circle have been aging rapidly, how their luck has been consistently terrible, how everything goes wrong for them right after interactions with you. That's not coincidence. That's the spiritual rebound effect of trying to harm someone protected by forces beyond human understanding. The privacy you've been craving was actually spiritual protection in disguise. Your energy was being shielded from parasites who were feeding off your light. Now that the protection is complete, their access to your spiritual essence is permanently severed. The withdrawal they're about to experience will be unlike anything they've ever felt. Something incredible just happened in the realm of finances, and it represents the first major crack in the spiritual blockages that have been placed around your abundance. You're about to receive money from sources that seem almost mystical in their timing and origin. This isn't luck. This is the universe returning resources that were spiritually stolen from you through energetic manipulation. Every time someone made you feel guilty for wanting better, every time someone convinced you that desiring abundance was selfish, every time someone projected their poverty consciousness onto your dreams, all of that spiritual theft is being reversed with compound interest. The struggle era just ended, not because you worked harder, but because the spiritual interference blocking your natural flow of abundance was just removed. You're about to step into resource streams that feel effortless compared to the artificial resistance you've been fighting against. This is how life feels when you're not constantly battling invisible opposition. Your shadow competitors are going to watch your financial transformation with horror because they know exactly what spells they cast to keep you broke. When those same spells start destroying their own financial stability while you prosper beyond measure, the terror in their eyes will be unmistakable. They're about to learn that spiritual warfare is a two-way street, and they just lost the only battle that mattered. The abundance flowing toward you carries spiritual significance beyond the material. Each dollar represents a year of blocked blessings. Each opportunity symbolizes a door that was supernaturally sealed against you. Each resource manifesting in your life is proof that no human magic is stronger than divine will. Your social transformation represents the second major spiritual victory in this cosmic battle. You're about to attract individuals whose energy naturally harmonizes with your elevated frequency. These connections aren't random. They're spiritually orchestrated to replace the energy vampires who were strategically placed in your path to drain your power. Every fake friend who was secretly working against you, every family member who was actively blocking your blessings, every colleague who was undermining your success through spiritual means, all of them are being systematically removed from your orbit by forces beyond their control or comprehension. The new community forming around you carries protective energy that automatically repels spiritual predators. Your genuine supporters don't just celebrate your success. They actively contribute to your spiritual protection through their positive intentions. This is how the universe rebuilds your social foundation with materials that can't be corrupted or contaminated. Your old social circle is watching this transformation with increasing desperation because their spiritual hold over you has been completely severed. The energetic cords they use to siphon your power, the psychic attachments they maintain to monitor your progress, the spiritual monitoring systems they establish to predict your moves, all of it just went dark simultaneously. Some will attempt to crash your new spiritual territory through uninvited appearances. But authentic spiritual protection recognizes counterfeit energy immediately. Your new community will instinctively reject anyone carrying residual attachments to your past limitations. The fortress being built around your new life has gates that only open for genuinely aligned souls. The explosion of creative energy you're experiencing represents the third spiritual victory, the complete restoration of gifts that were supernaturally suppressed. Every abandoned project that was sabotaged through spiritual interference, every brilliant idea that was energetically blocked from manifestation, every creative vision that was cursed to remain dormant, all of it just received divine CPR. Your artistic abilities weren't naturally inconsistent. They were being spiritually suppressed by people who understood that your creative power was directly connected to your ability to influence reality. By keeping your creative energy scattered and unfocused, these spiritual attackers were preventing you from accessing your full manifestation potential. The simultaneous revival of multiple creative projects isn't coincidence. It's the universe making up for lost time by removing all artificial barriers to your natural creative flow. Ideas pour through you like water because the spiritual dam blocking your inspiration just collapsed under the weight of divine intervention. Your shadow competitors are experiencing the opposite effect. Their own creative wells are drying up as the stolen inspiration they've been using gets returned to its rightful owner. The creative abilities that seemed to flow so naturally for them were actually siphoned from your energy field through spiritual theft. Now that the connection is severed, their creative bankruptcy becomes obvious. If this message awakens something within you, hype this video for other chosen ones who need to hear this. As your spiritual protection reaches full strength, you become a mirror that reflects people's true spiritual nature back at them with devastating accuracy. Those carrying genuine light shine brighter in your presence, but those harboring dark intentions find their masks disintegrating whenever they're near your energy. The spiritual clarity you're gaining answers questions that have puzzled you for extended periods. Why certain relationships always felt energetically draining. Why specific interactions left you feeling spiritually attacked. Why particular people triggered unexplainable anxiety in your system. You are picking up on their hidden spiritual agendas without consciously understanding what you were sensing. Your expanding spiritual awareness reveals the true scope of the conspiracy against your success. The coordinated effort to keep you spiritually bound, the systematic undermining of your confidence through supernatural means, the deliberate projection of limitation and failure onto your future. All of it becomes visible once your spiritual sight is fully activated. The mirror effect also reveals your own spiritual power in ways that transform your entire relationship with reality. You see how your emotional states influence physical circumstances, how your thoughts shape the behavior of people around you, how your energy field directly impacts the material world. This awareness fundamentally changes how you navigate existence. The upcoming social events where you'll encounter people from your past represent spiritual battlegrounds where the old attacks will be tested against your new protection. These gatherings feel like tests because they are tests, opportunities for expired spells, to attempt one final activation before dissolving permanently. You walk into these situations carrying spiritual authority that immediately neutralizes their supernatural advantages. Where once their words could wound your confidence and their energy could drain your power, now their attacks bounce off you like rain off a roof. The protective barrier around your spirit has become impenetrable. The most satisfying aspect of these spiritual confrontations is watching these people realize their supernatural influence over you has been completely severed. The spells that used to work, the energy manipulation that used to succeed, the psychic attacks that used to land, none of it affects you anymore because you've been spiritually upgraded beyond their ability to touch. Your calm confidence in these situations isn't just psychological growth. It's the natural result of knowing that no weapon formed against you can prosper. You are strong because spiritual forces beyond human comprehension are actively working to ensure your protection and success. Your transformation represents something far more significant than personal growth. You're actively breaking generational curses that have plagued your family for longer than anyone remembers. The patterns of limitation, self-sabotage, and settling for less that previous generations accepted as normal are being permanently shattered through your spiritual breakthrough. Some family members resist this curse breaking because their entire identity is built around victimhood and limitation. Your success forces them to confront the possibility that their suffering was optional, that their struggles were largely self-imposed, that their acceptance of mediocrity was a choice rather than destiny. But other family members, particularly younger ones, are being spiritually liberated by your courage to break these inherited limitations. Your breakthrough doesn't just change your trajectory. It rewrites the spiritual DNA of your entire lineage. The children in your family now have access to possibilities that were supernaturally blocked for previous generations. This generational healing work is sacred beyond measure. You're not just succeeding personally, you're healing ancestral wounds that have been bleeding for longer than recorded history. Every curse you break, every limitation you transcend, every false prophecy you disprove, all of it creates spiritual freedom for bloodline members you may never even meet. The people who spent enormous amounts of energy trying to curse your success are now experiencing the spiritual equivalent of financial bankruptcy. Every ritual they funded, every spell they commissioned, every curse they activated, all of it required massive energy investment that was just returned to them as spiritual debt. Their hatred for you was never really personal. It was spiritual recognition that your success would expose their own self-imposed limitations. Your elevation forces everyone around you to confront their choices, their excuses, their acceptance of circumstances. They have the power to change. The spiritual warfare against you required constant energy maintenance, keeping curses active, refreshing hexes, renewing spiritual attacks. This supernatural effort was slowly draining their life force, their relationships, their financial stability, their mental health. Now that their attacks have been neutralized, the energy vacuum left behind is devastating. You'll notice some of these people aging rapidly as the spiritual rebound effect accelerates. Others will experience sudden financial catastrophes as their abundance-blocking spells reverse direction. Some will face relationship destruction as their love-binding rituals backfire spectacularly. All of them will discover that spiritual warfare against the divinely protected is spiritual suicide. One of the most shocking revelations in your awakening process is discovering the extent to which your spiritual gifts were being systematically stolen and used by people in your circle. Your natural intuition, your creative inspiration, your ability to manifest opportunities, all of it was being energetically harvested and redirected to benefit your spiritual predators. Your gifts weren't naturally inconsistent. They were being deliberately siphoned by people who understood how to access and redirect your spiritual resources. Every time you felt drained after spending time with certain individuals. Every time your energy felt scattered after specific interactions. Every time your motivation disappears following particular conversations, you were experiencing the aftermath of supernatural theft. The restoration of your spiritual gifts feels overwhelming because you're receiving back accumulated power that was stolen over extended periods. Your natural abilities weren't diminished. They were being artificially redistributed to people who couldn't generate similar energy on their own. Now that the theft has been exposed and stopped, your full spiritual capacity is being returned with compound interest. The people who benefited from this spiritual theft are about to experience dramatic reversals of fortune as their artificial advantages disappear. The success that seemed to come so naturally, the opportunities that appeared to manifest effortlessly, the creative inspiration that flowed so consistently. All of it was built on stolen spiritual energy that is now returning to its rightful owner. The spiritual protection now surrounding you operates on multiple levels that create an impenetrable fortress around your energy field. Physical protection that prevents accidents and health crises. Emotional protection that deflects psychological attacks and manipulation. Financial protection that blocks attempts to sabotage your abundance. Creative protection that preserves your ideas and visions from theft. Your ancestors have established a spiritual monitoring system that identifies threats before they can manifest in physical reality. Every curse sent your direction gets intercepted and returned to sender. Every hex attempted against you gets amplified and redirected back to its source. Every spiritual attack launched in your direction becomes a spiritual attack against the attacker. The protocol includes automatic retaliation features that activate whenever someone attempts supernatural interference with your path. You don't need to consciously defend yourself because the spiritual security system operates independently of your awareness. Your job is to focus on creating and building, while your ancestral protection handles all defensive operations. People who harbor ill intentions toward you will find themselves experiencing inexplicable misfortune whenever those intentions intensify. Their own negative energy becomes trapped in their personal energy field, creating a feedback loop that amplifies their suffering while leaving you completely unaffected. This is how spiritual justice operates. When divine protection is involved, the financial transformation you're experiencing represents the opening of an abundance portal that was supernaturally sealed against you for far too long. Every resource that was spiritually blocked from reaching you, every opportunity that was mystically redirected away from your path, every blessing that was occultly stolen before it could manifest in your life, all of it is now flowing toward you in concentrated form. This isn't just money. It's energetic repayment for every abundance-blocking spell that was cast against your prosperity. The universe is settling spiritual accounts that have been outstanding for longer than you realize. Each dollar represents a prayer that was supernaturally intercepted. Each opportunity symbolizes a door that was mystically sealed. Each resource manifesting in your reality is proof that divine justice always prevails. These with which abundance now flows into your experience demonstrates how much artificial resistance was being generated against your natural prosperity. You weren't bad with money. Your financial flow was being supernaturally disrupted by people who understood that your success would diminish their sense of superiority. Your shadow competitors are watching your financial elevation with growing terror, because witnessing your prosperity confirms that their abundance-blocking rituals have completely backfired. The same spiritual forces they directed against your success are now systematically dismantling their own financial stability. They're experiencing spiritual bankruptcy while watching you achieve spiritual prosperity. Your creative renaissance represents the restoration of spiritual gifts that were being suppressed through supernatural interference. Every abandoned project that never felt right, every brilliant idea that seemed to evaporate, every artistic vision that remained frustratingly out of reach, all of it was being systematically blocked by people who recognized that your creative power was directly connected to your reality-shaping abilities. The simultaneous revival of multiple creative endeavors isn't natural productivity. It's a supernatural restoration of power that was being artificially constrained. Your creativity flows freely now because the spiritual dams blocking your inspiration have been obliterated by forces beyond human resistance. Your creative work now carries spiritual power that automatically repels negative influences, while attracting positive opportunities. Every piece you create, every project you launch, every artistic vision you manifest, all of it exists within protective energy fields that prevent spiritual theft and ensure your creative legacy remains intact. The people who are spiritually siphoning your creative energy are experiencing the opposite effect. Their own creative wells are permanently drying up as the stolen inspiration returns to its rightful source. Their creative successes that seemed to manifest so effortlessly were built on supernatural theft that is now exposed and reversed. The show must go on, and you're approaching the grand finale of the most significant spiritual transformation in your lifetime. This isn't just personal growth. It's a complete metaphysical renovation of your entire existence. Every curse is broken, every spell reversed, every false prophecy shattered. All of it culminates in your emergence as someone completely liberated from supernatural limitations. The people who attempted to keep you spiritually bound are witnessing your finale with a mixture of awe and absolute terror. Their recognition that every spiritual attack against you has not only failed, but has multiplied back against them, creates a level of fear that transcends normal war against someone protected by ancestral forces, is declaring war against powers they cannot comprehend or defeat. You understand now that the broken foundation wasn't destruction. It was renovation. The universe was clearing space for something unbreakable to be constructed. Every mess that had to be cleaned up, every relationship that had to end, every limitation that had to be shattered, all of it was necessary preparation for the spiritual masterpiece your life has become. Remember that moment when everything seemed to fall apart? That breaking point that felt like failure, but was actually the sound of every curse, spell, and false prophecy projected over your life, finally shattering under the weight of divine intervention. The mess represented everything that needed to be spiritually cleansed from your existence before your true power could fully activate. The show that must go on was never about performing for people incapable of appreciating your gifts. It was about finally claiming center stage in your own existence, while spiritual forces ensure that no one can ever push you back into the shadows again. The people who ruined their entire lives trying to get at you serve as permanent reminders of what happens when humans attempt to interfere with divine will. The privacy you craved has manifested as complete spiritual sanctuary. The protective barriers around your energy field are so impenetrable that spiritual predators can't even locate your presence on supernatural radar. Meanwhile, you exist in a state of constant divine favor, where opportunities, resources, and genuine connections flow toward you with supernatural consistency. The ancestral protection surrounding your success operates with permanent vigilance, ensuring that spiritual attacks are neutralized before they can even form in the consciousness of potential attackers. Your grandmother's spirit continues orchestrating circumstances to guarantee your protection and prosperity, while ensuring that anyone harboring ill intentions faces immediate spiritual consequences. You recognize now that breaking free from spiritual oppression wasn't just personal healing, it was generational liberation. Every family member carrying inherited limitations suddenly has access to possibilities that were supernaturally blocked for previous generations. Your breakthrough unlocked spiritual potential that extends throughout your entire bloodline. The show must go on, and you've proven that sometimes the greatest performance comes from having the spiritual authority to walk away from audiences that never deserved access to your gifts in the first place. Standing in your truth, surrounded by divine protection, financially abundant, creatively unleashed, and completely free from every curse ever projected over your destiny. You embody proof that no human magic is stronger than divine will. Every spell has been broken, every curse has been reversed, every false prophecy has been shattered, and you are finally completely permanently free. Your spiritual breakthrough has triggered what can only be described as a dimensional shift in how reality responds to your presence. The laws of physics seem to bend slightly in your favor. Now, coincidences align with supernatural precision. Opportunities manifest with timing so perfect, it defies logical explanation. This is what happens when someone breaks free from spiritual constraints and begins operating within divine favor. The people observing your transformation struggle to comprehend how someone can change so dramatically in such a compressed time frame. What appears miraculous to external observers feels completely natural to you, because you're finally operating from your authentic spiritual frequency without supernatural interference. This is how reality was always supposed to respond to your presence. Your shadow competitors cannot replicate these effects, no matter how desperately manipulation techniques or spiritual practices. The dimensional shift you've experienced requires genuine spiritual liberation, not performance or pretense. Their attempts to fake similar energy only highlight the vast difference between authentic spiritual power and manufactured spiritual theater. One of the most profound aspects of your transformation is the establishment of complete energetic sovereignty. Your personal energy field now operates as an independent spiritual nation with its own laws, borders, and defense systems. No one can enter your energetic space without explicit permission. No one can drain your spiritual resources without immediate consequences. This sovereignty extends beyond personal protection into active reality creation. Your thoughts carry more manifestation power because spiritual static has been cleared from your mental frequency. Your emotions generate stronger energetic responses because your feeling centers are no longer compromised by psychic interference. Your intentions manifest faster because the spiritual pathway between desire and reality has been cleared of all obstacles. The energetic boundaries you've established automatically filter incoming influences based on their alignment with your highest good. Positive energy flows freely into your experience, while negative energy encounters impenetrable barriers. You no longer need to consciously guard against energy vampires because your spiritual immune system handles all defensive operations automatically. Your newfound sovereignty creates ripple effects that extend into every area of your life. Relationships become more authentic because people can only connect with you from genuine places within themselves. Business opportunities align more perfectly because your energy only resonates with ventures that serve your spiritual purpose. Creative projects flow more smoothly because your artistic expression is no longer contaminated by external spiritual interference. Your spiritual elevation has activated what spiritual masters call the karmic acceleration chamber, a state where positive and negative actions return to their sources with supernatural speed and intensity. Every kindness you extend multiplies exponentially before returning to you. Every genuine effort you make toward your goals receives cosmic amplification. Simultaneously, every negative action directed toward you returns to its source with devastating swiftness. The people who cursed your success experience immediate backlash in their own lives. Those who spread false prophecies about your limitations watch those same limitations manifested in their own circumstances. Individuals who attempt to block your abundance find their own financial flow mysteriously constricted. This acceleration affects not just current actions, but past grievances as well. Spiritual debts that have been accumulating for extended periods are suddenly being collected with compound interest. People who harmed you in previous phases of your life are experiencing delayed consequences as the karmic acceleration brings all accounts current. You witness this karmic balancing with fascination rather than satisfaction, because your elevated spiritual state generates compassion even for those who wronged you. Understanding that their suffering results from their own choices rather than your revenge creates a sense of spiritual detachment that prevents their karma from affecting your energy field. Your personal frequency has elevated to levels that create automatic positive responses from everyone operating from authentic spiritual centers. Children are naturally drawn to your energy. Animals seek your attention. Plants seem to flourish in your presence. Even inanimate objects respond more cooperatively to your touch. This frequency elevation makes deception impossible to maintain in your presence. People find themselves compelled to speak truthfully around you because your energy field dissolves the spiritual foundations that support lies and manipulation. Hidden agendas become visible. Secret intentions get exposed. Authentic motivations rise to the surface, where honest communication becomes inevitable. Your elevated frequency also accelerates the spiritual growth of everyone genuinely connected to your journey. Family members begin questioning limiting beliefs that previously seemed unshakable. Friends start pursuing dreams that seemed impossible before witnessing your transformation. Colleagues discover courage to leave situations that no longer serve their highest good. The frequency you now carry serves as a spiritual tuning fork that helps others recognize their own authentic vibration. Your presence reminds people of who it is possible to become when artificial limitations are removed and authentic power is embraced. This creates a ripple effect of awakening that extends far beyond your immediate circle. Now, I want to take a moment to tell you about a few individuals that shouldn't exist. A trained occultist who escaped from a satanic coven. A former Black Ops drone pilot who flew swarms with his mind. A multi-millionaire psychic CFO who predicted market shifts before they happened. What do these remarkable individuals have in common? You'll find them all in the Obsidian Inner Order, where they share their forbidden knowledge on our private Discord server. My chosen soul has drunk deep from the well of knowledge aeon after aeon. In this incarnation, these extraordinary individuals became my allies in the Obsidian Inner Order. They recognized the call. They stepped forward. They connected with others who understand their unique gifts and burdens. What is stopping you from manifesting the same? The synchronicities that brought them here weren't accidents. Neither is your discovery of this message. When souls of this caliber gather, the Archons take notice when the truly awakened find each other. Join our weekly calls. Hear their stories firsthand. Share your own journey with those who won't dismiss or doubt you. The knowledge exchanged in our private channels cannot be found anywhere else on this plane. Click the link in the description below now. The extraordinary souls await your arrival. The question isn't whether you belong among them. The question is, how much longer will you wait to claim your place? Your life is undergoing complete reality reconstruction, as every foundation built on false spiritual premises crumbles and gets replaced with structures aligned with your authentic nature. Relationships based on energy exploitation dissolve naturally, while connections rooted in mutual respect strengthen exponentially. Financial arrangements that required your spiritual compromise transform into opportunities that honor your true worth. Even your body undergoes reconstruction as cellular memory of spiritual oppression gets cleared and replaced with vitality patterns aligned with your authentic nature. Health issues connected to suppressed spiritual gifts begin resolving. Physical manifestations of energetic blockages start dissolving. Your entire biological system upgrades to support your expanded spiritual capacity. The reconstruction affects your daily routines, as activities that previously felt mandatory suddenly seem optional, while pursuits that always felt impossible become irresistibly compelling. Your schedule naturally reorganizes around priorities that serve your spiritual evolution, rather than external expectations or social obligations. Every false prophecy ever spoken over your life is now manifesting in reverse as your authentic destiny unfolds with supernatural momentum. The prediction that you would never amount to anything becomes a reality where you exceed every measure of success. The curse that you would struggle financially transforms into abundance that flows from multiple sources. The hex that you would remain spiritually powerless evolves into influence that touches lives across vast networks. This prophetic reversal extends beyond personal success into theorem of spiritual influence. Your transformation becomes living proof that false prophecies have no power over divine will. Other people carrying similar curses begin questioning the spiritual authorities who pronounce limitations over their lives. Your breakthrough gives others permission to reject prophetic pronouncements that contradict their inner knowing. The reversal process includes supernatural vindication in situations where your character was maligned or your integrity questioned. Truth emerges through unexpected channels that restore your reputation, while exposing the motivations of those who attempted to damage your standing. Justice manifests through circumstances that require no effort on your part, but deliver complete resolution. Your story becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of pronouncing false prophecies over chosen ones, while simultaneously serving as inspiration for others trapped under similar spiritual oppression. The same words intended to limit your potential now serve as stepping stones toward your destiny. Your journey returns full circle to that moment of apparent destruction when everything seemed to shatter beyond repair. The broken foundation now reveals itself as divine intervention, disguised as crisis. The universe was systematically dismantling artificial limitations to create space for authentic power to emerge. Every loss was actually liberation from spiritual constraints that were preventing your authentic expression. The show that must go on has revealed its true meaning. Not performance for unworthy audiences, but authentic expression of your divine nature, regardless of external circumstances. You've learned that your light doesn't require permission to shine, and your gifts don't require approval to manifest. The only audience that matters exists within the spiritual realms where your ancestors celebrate every breakthrough. Your story becomes a testament to the power of divine will over human limitation. Every spell broken, every curse reversed, every false prophecy shattered. All of it proves that spiritual truth eventually conquers spiritual deception. Regardless of how elaborate the opposition becomes, standing in complete spiritual freedom, surrounded by authentic love, operating from unlimited creative power, and expressing your highest nature without constraint, you embody proof that chosen ones cannot be permanently suppressed. Your transformation declares to all dimensions that divine purpose will always find a way to manifest, despite all attempts at spiritual interference. The foundation has been rebuilt. The show continues,